welcome back to the episode of Beer, Bacon, and Bros. Tonight we got Keith, we got Chris, we got Alex. Yes, these two are normally in the other seats, but it threw me off for a second. No Adam tonight, but we are jumping into our Week 7 college football pick'ems. If you've been along with us the whole week, you know we do 10 picks. Right now, a really tight race yet again, so I'm still up a game at 41 and 26. Adam's sitting at 40-27, and then you two guys both at 38-29. So still really tight as we head into Week 7 of the pick'ems here. Another 10-game slate. Before we jump into it, make sure you hit the subscribe button, completely free to you. It means a lot to us growing our channel. If you're already a subscriber, thanks for coming back for another video. Hit the like button so that you can help make our videos more popular. As always, hit us in the comments. You know we'll get back with you. So do the still rotating thing, so we'll let you start on this one. We got the Tulane Green Waves 4-1 going to Memphis, also 4-1. This is a little American Athletic Conference action on Friday night at 7. Tulane currently 4.5-point favorite.
This is a tough one. Memphis has looked strong pretty much all year. You know, their one loss came to a really good Mizzou team. They just beat Boise. Tulane's looked really good all year. You know, their only loss coming to Ole Miss, where they still, you know, were in the game for a little bit. It wasn't like it was a complete blowout, but give me the wave. I'll go with Tulane here.
Okay. This is, I love how tight some of these games are now getting in Week 7. I think for me, both these teams have lost to an SEC team. I look at those two SEC teams and I say which is the better. I say it's Ole Miss, and so for me, I'm going to take Tulane too. I think Tulane, even though they were at home when playing Ole Miss, played a better Ole Miss team without their quarterback, and I think Tulane's defense, yet again, tops in the country.
I'm just going to go short and sweet here. I'm going to go Tulane with this one.
Yeah. Okay. On to game 2, which we, of course, as South Carolina would love. It's the 4-2 Florida Gators coming to Columbia, South Carolina, 3:30 on Saturday. South Carolina 2-3 on the season. Their 3 losses, though, North Carolina, Georgia, and Tennessee, all ranked opponents. It's obviously, South Carolina plays a really tough schedule every single year. For Florida, their losses Utah and Kentucky. South Carolina, a 2-point favorite right now, which kind of surprises me a little bit.
It's a little surprising for sure.
But both of these teams not great on offense at the moment, really kind of putting it together. Florida's got their defense together, so for me, I hate to bet against them, but I'm going to take Florida.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Florida as well. I mean, being a Carolina fan, I want Gamecocks to win, obviously, but I think their defense is better than our defense, and I just feel like that's gonna be the outcome of the game.
I'm going to go with South Carolina on this one. Dow Loggins plans on making a couple changes in the offense, hopefully rejuvenate it a little bit, get some things going. And we're back at home, so we had a week off to rest, stretch out those tired muscles. I think South Carolina pulls this one out.
Okay. Flipping to another SEC matchup, we got 4-2 A&M. This is another 3:30 game on Saturday, going to number 19 Tennessee. Tennessee 4-1 on the season. Tennessee currently a 3-point favorite at home.
I'm going to go Volunteers on this one. Jimbo Fisher is going to stumble once again. The Aggies are going to be in a rough spot, and Neyland Stadium is just going to be rocking.
Yeah, I like Tennessee at home as well. I think that's a really tough place to play. I don't know what time the game is, but I think
3:30.
It's still going to be a rough place to play. I mean, night there is obviously a whole lot worse than what it is than 3 o'clock, but I definitely think Tennessee can pull this one off at home.
I feel weird about this because I think A&M had such a good hand in last week's game, but then they just, like you said, just stumbled, right? Just let Alabama come back on them. And so I still sit by the fact that I don't think Tennessee is as good as people think they are. So I'm going to take a shot in the dark here, and I'm going to take A&M on this. I think Max Johnson is playing really good football as the quarterback of Texas A&M. Maybe should have been starting a quarterback this whole season for them. So I'm going to take a shot in dark, and I'm going to take the Aggies. We'll see if Adam follows me or not. But hopping into a Big 12 matchup this week, we got Kansas State 3-2 at Texas Tech 3-3, 7 o'clock in Lubbock. This one, a 1.5-point favorite are the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
This is another one of those tough ones to pick because you have Texas Tech at home. against a Kansas State he would think would have probably one of the better defenses in the Big 12. Hasn't been the case so far this year. When teams are averaging there's 29, 31, 27, 13. I mean, they're averaging pretty high numbers against them. Give me Kansas State to win. I just think I like their offense to produce on them. To be able to produce on Texas Tech.
Yeah, I am actually going to go the opposite on that one. I'm with you. I think you had a really great point. Right now in Big 12/Power 5 play, Missouri, UCF, and Oklahoma State averaging 30 points per game given up. Texas Tech seems to be a little bit on a hot streak right now. Their numbers aren't technically better than Kansas State's, but I mean the win over Baylor, the win over Houston, tough loss in West Virginia. I think we all know West Virginia gets a little rowdy up there. So I'm going to take the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Texas Tech as well. The West Virginia loss, next to a really good, and I think slept on West Virginia team currently. On the other side of the ball, Kansas State, I don't like the loss to Mizzou, allowing Mizzou to score 30-something points, and UCF, even though they beat UCF, allowing them to also score 31 points. I think that's going to be the tail in this game is Kansas State's defense is a little bit weak, and Texas Tech's going to come out with it.
Yeah. Tight game here in the ACC. NC State 4-2. Duke obviously 4-1, number 17 team in the country. This is an 8 p.m. game in Duke, Durham, North Carolina. Duke only a 3.5-point favorite, and I'll tell you why. It's because their quarterback, Riley Leonard, is actually probably going to be out. Remember, he hurt his ankle, got a high ankle sprain in that last play against Notre Dame a couple weeks ago. So Duke going to have to turn it over to a redshirt freshman. That's why we got a 3.5-point line here, and I absolutely hate the fact that I'm leading on this one because Duke is a team that I own in our college fantasy league. For those that have been following along, I also hate the fact that NC State barely beat Marshall by 7 at home.
They played a good game against Louisville, though.
They did play a really good game against Louisville. Duke's defense giving up less than 300 total yards per game, so I will stick with Duke. I think this 3.5-point line is probably really, really close and really tight. So give me Duke in a really, really tight matchup.
I'm going to go with North Carolina State on this one. I think the redshirt freshman quarterback is going to be the weakness for Duke. So I think that's how it's going to go. North Carolina State's going to pull this one out.
I'm agree with Alex. I think with Riley Leonard being out, definitely hurts Duke's probability of winning this game. If Riley Leonard was there, I'd ride the Riley Leonard train all day. But since he's most likely going to be out of this game with a high ankle sprain, yeah, I'm definitely gonna. I think NC State's not been a bad team. They've looked good in a lot of their games that they've played.
So if they announce Riley Leonard's playing, can we change our picks?
I don't know if you know how high ankle sprains work. I don't think
it's not.
Back in
That's why.
well,
same reason Travis Kelce's not going to play this weekend.
Especially since that offense runs around him running.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna be tough. I think if Riley Leonard's in that game, Duke's probably favored by 10.
Absolutely. Especially being at Duke at home.
Yeah. All right. Big Pac-12 matchup again. UCLA, number 18 team in the country now, 4-1, 1-1 in the conference. They just came off the big upset over Washington State. Oregon State 5-1, 2-1 in the conference, number 15 in the country. Their one loss is to Washington State. Battling it out here in Corvallis, which I know you're a big fan of. So Oregon State, actually you lead on this one, sorry. Oregon State, a 3.5-point favorite at home currently.
It's hard to root against Oregon State right now. I think they've got the ball rolling. I think DJ has found his groove out there under the coaching staff, new offensive scheme. I'm going to go Oregon State on this one.
It's hard to play in Corvallis in general. And with Oregon State being the way they are right now, I mean, I do like what I see out of UCLA. I mean, they're pretty much very well balanced between the two. The only thing is UCLA is allowing less yards per game. And as a whole, they're allowing less yards per game. And they came up that big game against Washington
I don't like
State.
UCLA's points per games against actually decent opponents.
Yeah, I mean,
so low scoring offense in a big game.
Yeah, I mean, low scoring against Coastal, low scoring against
Wazoo, against Utah.
Yeah, give me Oregon State at home.
Yeah, again, another team that I own in the college fantasy league. Don't plan on playing them this week either. I think the thing for me, the way
Can't win
Dante,
championship scary, Chris.
you're right. You can also lose teams very quickly.
Ask yeah.
I will say this. I think the thing that I looked at was the Utah game here, right? Very obviously, Oregon State got Utah at home. UCLA played Utah in Utah. But the way that Dante Moore, the true freshman for UCLA, extremely talented quarterback, going to be a first-round pick in the future, but he played terrible on the road at Utah. Corvallis, a very similar environment.
Just as hard to play.
8 o'clock at night. I think.
Oh, this will be rocking.
I think for me, yeah, Oregon State gets that home field advantage, has the veteran quarterback play as well. Yeah. The thing with Wazoo, where I think Wazoo tripped up Oregon State, Wazoo a spread out offense, Oregon State almost a Big Ten style defense, couldn't hang with the speed of Wazoo, where UCLA, their defense, also very speedy and spread out, plays that 3-3-5, and was able to hang with Wazoo. Carson Steele going to be the key player here. This guy has just come to UCLA. He was great at Miami, Ohio last year, or Ball State last year, sorry. But he has come to UCLA and been fantastic for them in the run game. He could be the difference in this game, but I'm with you guys. I'm taking Oregon State as well. Back to the SEC, we got 5-1 Missouri, 5-1 Kentucky. We laughed about this last week. We knew we were going to have to pick this game because these are two, were top 25 last week. Both teams, I would say, got exposed for the teams they are this past week. Kentucky still in the top 25 at number 24. They are a 2.5-point favorite at home.
So this is a tough game, I think, because seeing how Missouri played last week against LSU, coming out and just like smacking LSU in the face.
Yeah.
And playing at the caliber that they did, it scares me to play them as a Carolina fan. It scares me to play Missouri. They did go out. Give me Missouri to upset Kentucky. Give me Missouri to upset Kentucky. I like how they've been playing. Their defense has been there when it needs to be. It obviously wasn't there last week in certain situations, but their offense is just clicking. They're explosive when they go out there and play.
I have been very impressed at how Cook, Missouri's quarterback, has played this season.
Oh, he's been phenomenal.
He's taken the turnovers out of his game. That was
Absolutely.
a huge thing that hurt him last year. Only 2 picks, 13 touchdowns already this season. Kentucky's a team that likes to run the football. They play the Georgia defense. Everybody knows they can't run against Georgia. Missouri being able to stop the run is without a doubt the key to this game. If they can, I think Missouri can win handedly. But I think this line's pretty close, and I'm going to be with you. I think I'm taking Missouri just because of the better quarterback play.
I'm worried that Missouri's going to come off the adrenaline high playing LSU that well and just stumble. But like you guys have pointed out, Missouri's offense is really clicking. Kentucky's defense is nowhere near the caliber of LSU, so I think Missouri's going to get this one as well.
Okay. All right. Rolling into ACC action, number 25 Miami 4-1 at number 12 North Carolina, who is 5-0, 7:30 in Chapel Hill. UNC a 3.5-point favorite here, and I think I lead on this one.
Yep.
Oh, Miami. The debacle last week, you just have to question what that looks like. What is Miami?
You have to question who's going to get fired at the end of the season for that game.
Oh, what is Miami going to play like this week in North Carolina, coming off such a terrible, rough loss? But man, Miami has.
Miami, they haven't played anybody outside of Boston College. That's Boston College.
Cookman.
That's Bethune-Cookman.
They played A&M at home. They haven't had a road. Yeah, give me North Carolina, because what I'm thinking here, road. Miami has not played on the road yet, and they have played on the road. They played in Temple, so they haven't played a real road environment yet. They played really well. I think they're on paper, stat-wise, probably the better team with the lower yards per defense, lower points per game.
Yeah, but
offense,
you can contribute that to who they played though too.
Yeah. Yeah, give me North Carolina here. I think they stay undefeated.
Because they should have beat. Let's all be honest. They should have beat Georgia Tech last week, pretty handily.
Yeah, I took Missouri.
All right, UNC for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go UNC too. I think they're clicking. They got the return of
Tez Walker.
So they got their big name wide receiver back. Drake May hasn't been what we thought Drake May was going to be, but he's also not hurt them in situations. I mean, yes, he's thrown 4 picks, but they haven't really led to any upset or any scares outside of
2 of those were against South Carolina.
2 of them I think were against App State. So outside of the App State game, those turnovers have not hurt them. So I mean, and they've won their other games pretty handily. I mean, they did go out and beat a good Minnesota team. And they beat Syracuse, which has been a really good team.
Yeah,
So,
I think I'm impressed by the Syracuse win.
the caliber of the Syracuse.
Yeah, I'm gonna go North Carolina on this one as well. They just look like a more complete team.
Rolling into USC and Notre Dame. Southern Cal 6-0, number 10 in the country. Notre Dame 5-2, 21st in the country. Notre Dame playing yet again a top 25 opponent. And then our pick'ems. Right now, Notre Dame at home, the 3-point favorite against the undefeated Trojans.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Notre Dame on this one. I think they're gonna eventually get these wins out. And they've been playing some very, very tough games. I think they eventually figured out. USC also going to overtime last week.
3 overtimes.
Yeah, with Arizona was just atrocious. I'm gonna get Notre Dame on this one.
I think the difference between these two is Notre Dame actually does have a defense, whereas USC can't stop anything. I mean, they're allowing almost, let's just average out between 25 and 35 points a game.
Yeah.
Between the averages. Yeah, I like Notre Dame. I like Notre Dame to win this one home.
I thought I was going to be the only one taking Notre Dame, but I guess I'm going to be riding this with you.
Yeah, the defense will be the big factor.
Notre Dame actually has
allowing
a defense.
half the amount of yards that USC is allowing.
Yeah.
And half the amount of points.
Yeah.
I think for me, you saw some fatigue last week in the Louisville upset. It's also hard to play on the road at Louisville, and so, it's back-to-back road games against Duke and Louisville. This is going to be the 4th straight top 25 opponent for Notre Dame. There's some fatigue to playing that kind of caliber team, so that does scare me a good bit. Also, the offense just weeks ago against Ohio State, I was screaming Notre Dame's the most balanced team in the country. They have not looked very good on offense the last 2 weeks versus Duke.
No, not at all.
So it does scare me, but again, I'm with you guys. Southern Cal can't stop a freaking 5-year-old out there in the field right now.
I think last week with the Louisville game, though, for Notre Dame, I think they got behind and they just said, all right, I mean, at this point, we're not going to be able, we can't come back on them, so might as well kind of just, lay off and not say take plays off, but don't give it their all because they knew they were going to come back and win that game. So, don't hurt themselves to be able to, salvage the rest of the season.
Yeah. All right, our 10th game of the week, as always, it's game day. This one, oddly, at 3:30, we have number 8 Oregon, 5-0, 2-0 in their conference. Number 7 Washington Huskies, 5-0, 2-0 in the Pac-12 as well. Right now, Washington, a 3-point favorite at home in Seattle in Husky Stadium.
This is a tough game for 2 very good, very well-balanced teams. I mean, Bo Nix is actually pretty much there stat for stat with Michael Penix Jr. Minus the yards. He's short 500, but same amount of completions, same touchdowns, 1 less interception. Wow, this is a tough one. This is really tough.
It's going to be a fun game to watch. I hate that I'm going to be in the Carolina game this weekend while this one's playing.
See, this kind of scares me, though, here.
Well, I mean, maybe Arizona really is that good, right? Took Southern Cal to,
3 overtimes?
3 overtimes last week?
And put up 24 on Washington. That just kind of scares me because, going into the season, we didn't think Arizona was going to be that team.
Arizona fans that hit us up on our YouTube channel blowing us up about how good Arizona is.
Y'all
You
knew something
might have been right.
Y'all knew something we didn't know.
You might have been right.
Oh.
If you're going to take this long, I can go ahead and go.
Give me Oregon.
Okay.
I'm taking Oregon. I said it a little bit earlier ago. I think people probably recognize I am a big fan of the way Oregon is playing right now. I love the fact that Washington is that air raid again. It's always nice to have an air raid team in college football that's just out slinging it all over the field. But I think the Oregon defense is probably the most slept on defense in college football right now, so I will take the Ducks in this one.
The big difference for me on this was so offenses are almost nearly identical in production and point scoring and all that. The big difference is Oregon has held their opponents. Only one team has gotten over 20 points. Actually, only one team has gotten more than 11 points, and that one team was Texas Tech, who dropped 30 on them. Texas Tech still lost the game. They're also allowing over 100 yards less on the defensive side of the ball. So I think Oregon's defense is going to show up. They're going to be heavy hitting, and they're going to help Oregon roll away with this one. Bo Nix, the 8-year veteran that took over. He took over after Cam Newton left Auburn, and so, he's going to eventually get his retirement plan from Oregon and get a good win here.
Yeah,
It's a joke. He didn't take over after Cam Newton. I know he's not that.
It was close enough to it.
It was close enough.
Close enough, but I'll say this. I think that it was an interesting decision for Bo Nix to come back this year instead of going in last year's draft where there was definitely
Well, this year's
quarterback
QB
options.
class is horrid coming out.
Outside of Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams may not even go.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
talking
we
about
was talking about
he
not
doesn't
going.
he doesn't want to play for Chicago and doesn't want to play for Arizona. So
I think this quarterback class is going to be a little slept on, but I think for Bo Nix, he has made the value of coming back this year. 15 touchdowns, 1 interception, 1,500 yards, 80% completion percentage for him this year. That is astronomically better than anything he's done in his career.
Absolutely.
So definitely made it worth his while to come back. But clean sweep on Oregon. That's a little surprising. I didn't think we were going to go that way. So, all right. Hit us in the comments. Let us know who you think's winning some of these games. And as always, we appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe.